We begin here at home. After about 20 hours of nonstop negotiation, rail companies and union officials have finally reached a deal, a tentative deal, preventing what could have been an economically and politically devastating strike. The president himself calling into that meeting around 9 o'clock last night to help get the agreement over the finish line. For more on this, let's bring in White House correspondent MaryAlice Parks. MaryAlice, tens of thousands of workers were almost set to walk off the job had a tentative railway labor agreement not been reached. So first of all, how significant is this? Put it in context for us. And then what more do we know about the details of this agreement?
Yeah, Phil, I think this is hugely significant. We know that nearly a third of all goods are transported through rail lines in this country. We were looking at cost estimates of nearly $2 billion a day should those workers have gone on strike, which is why the White House felt they had to get involved, why Democratic leaders up and down the federal government felt that they had to get involved to try to avert a strike right now. The cost of a strike could have just been devastating to the economy. We could have potentially been looking at empty shelves or crops that had to go bad, that went bad as they couldn't move across freight. So this was hugely important to this White House to get a deal done. We know that this tentative deal includes a pretty major wage increase for employees, something like 14% rolled out over time, as well as some changes to working conditions and specifically some more paid and unpaid leave and sick leave, which was something that workers were really demanding, Phil.
MaryAlice, while we have you from Washington, I'd like to pivot to a couple of other stories. Let's talk about Senator Lindsey Graham's controversial bill to ban abortions nationwide after 15 weeks. It seems to have really thrown Republicans for a loop, dividing the party earlier this week. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said most of his members, quote, prefer that this be dealt with at the state level, which is what Republicans have been saying. Other Republicans have echoed similar sentiments. So what does this say about where Republicans stand on abortion, and how do you see it playing out there on Capitol Hill?
Well, we know right now, this close to the midterm elections, is that so many Republicans, especially in competitive races, did not want to be talking about this issue any more than they already were. You know, Democrats have been trying to make the midterm elections largely about this, saying that they know women across the country really want to maintain some access to abortion, to reproductive health. Democrats believe this is a winning issue for them, and polling has really shown that. And Republicans have been on their back foot. And so here you have Lindsey Graham sort of bringing the issue front and center again, now talking about a potential national ban should Republicans take control of the House or the Senate or both in November. And once again, Republicans are sort of having to play defense here and try to explain this, having to answer for whether they would support a national ban like this, whether they think it should come up for a vote. So like you said, it really has Republicans scrambling and divided on this issue, especially Republicans in competitive races that really wanted to be talking about anything else.
Yeah, abortion rights, big issue coming into the midterms. So is immigration. And yesterday, dozens of migrants were flown to Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. Local government officials there claim they had absolutely no advance notice about this. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis taking credit for it. How are local lawmakers reacting there? And certainly this is not the first time we've seen this. Governor Abbott from Texas has done something similar.
Right. This seems like sort of a new tactic and what has been sort of a push from some of these Republican governors over the last few months to send migrants from places like Arizona and Texas or even Florida to Washington, D.C., Chicago, New York, and now it seems Massachusetts. We're hearing reports overnight that local leaders in Martha's Vineyard and across Massachusetts sort of scrambled to make sure that those migrants that arrived had access to shelter and food and clothing. Like you said, they're claiming that they got absolutely no warning about this, and that some of the migrants, they say, didn't even have a sense of where they were headed. That is really interesting and a pretty big claim. You know, and I want to read some of these quotes from some of the sitting lawmakers. The Representative Bill Keating, who represents Martha's Vineyard, he said, history does not look kindly on leaders who treat human beings like cargo, loading them up and sending them thousands of miles away without telling them their destination. But he said the people of Martha's Vineyard, with its vibrant immigrant community, sort of rallied to meet the needs of those who needed help. And Senator Ed Markey represents Massachusetts, said that Ron DeSantis could learn a lesson from Massachusetts on what patriotism and liberty really look like if he weren't so busy using humans as props in a cruel stunt to basically help his own political agenda. And then Markey went on to say, to those who have landed, we gladly embrace you.
Yeah, MaryAlice, there were a lot of families there in Martha's Vineyard and here in New York and D.C. All right, much more on that. MaryAlice, thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.